In smaller homes, warmth is more immediate but equally deliberate. Fires are coaxed with patience, embers maintained carefully, families drawn inward toward the gentle glow. Children stay close to the coals, elders near the walls that retain heat the longest. All activities are paced according to the slow accumulation of warmth. Cooking is performed gradually, cloth repaired quietly, small chores executed softly, the household moving in a rhythm defined by comfort. Warmth becomes an invisible companion, present yet unobtrusive, guiding the body to ease and the mind to rest. The warmth lingers quietly beneath the floor, moving slowly through hidden spaces, rising without sound. It touches bare feet and tired bodies as evening settles. Inside these rooms, there is no rush, only the steady presence of heat held gently in stone. Outside, the city grows calmer. Footsteps soften, voices fade, and the idea of warmth becomes something almost invisible, something expected, something that allows rest to come easily. Hey, tonight we are going to drift gently backward through time, into the everyday world of ancient Rome, into homes built of stone and brick, where people learned how to live comfortably through changing seasons. Here, warmth was carefully planned and quietly maintained, and heating a home was part of ordinary routine rather than a luxury. And as the story unfolds, just a gentle reminder, if you're enjoying this so far, you're welcome to like the video and subscribe, only if it feels right. I always love seeing where you're listening from and what time it is for you, so feel free to share that in the comments. Now stay right where you are. Let the room stay dim, let the background sounds fade in softly, and allow yourself to sink back into the story as it continues. In ancient Rome, the need to heat a home grew naturally from the way life unfolded day by day. The city experienced long stretches of cool weather, especially in the mornings and evenings when stone buildings held onto the night air. And while the Mediterranean climate was often mild, it was rarely warm enough to ignore the cold that crept into walls and floors. People noticed how their bodies reacted to the chill, how joints stiffened, how sleep became shallow, and so warmth became a quiet priority. Roman homes were built to last. Thick walls protected from heat in summer and cold in winter, but stone carried temperature slowly. Once cold, it stayed cold, and once warm, it released that warmth gradually. This made heating not something done quickly, but something prepared for in advance. Fires were lit early, spaces were chosen carefully, and daily routines shifted toward the warmest areas of the house. In larger homes, warmth came from systems hidden beneath the floor, designed so heat moved evenly and gently. There was no smoke, no crackling sound, only a gradual warming that made rooms feel calm and steady. People walked barefoot across mosaic floors, sat quietly on low furniture, and felt the subtle comfort rising beneath them. This kind of warmth allowed conversation to slow, allowed bodies to relax, and allowed evenings to stretch without discomfort. In smaller homes, warmth was shared. Families gathered into fewer rooms, doors were closed early, and fires were tended with patience. Fuel was used carefully, never wasted, because warmth was valuable and meant to last through the night. Pots simmered slowly, water warmed gently, and the glow of firelight softened the edges of the room. Heating a home was also tied closely to health. Romans believed cold air could unsettle the body, bringing aches and weakness, and warmth was seen as protective, something that kept balance within the body. Doctors advised against sudden chills, and households adjusted their heating accordingly, especially for children and elders, who were kept closer to warmth, wrapped in cloth, and guided into the most comfortable spaces. Daily life followed these patterns without much thought. Mornings began slowly as fires were checked, and warm rooms welcomed movement, while cold spaces were avoided until sunlight returned. Afternoons allowed heat to build naturally, and evenings were shaped around warmth, with meals eaten near heat sources, stories shared, and hands warmed quietly. As seasons shifted, these habits remained. In cooler months, heating was central. In warmer months, it faded gently into the background, never fully disappearing because stone never fully warmed, and nights always carried a trace of coolness. The Roman home responded calmly, adjusting without drama, even. Architecture reflected this understanding. Windows were placed high, walls thick, rooms arranged inward, courtyards protected from wind, all designed to preserve comfort, to keep warmth where it was needed, and allow life to continue at an easy pace. Heating a home was not about indulgence, it was about creating a space where the body could rest, where sleep came easily, and where the rhythm of the day flowed without interruption. And as you rest here now, listening, the story moves gently onward, through rooms and seasons, through quiet evenings and slow mornings, carrying with it the soft presence of warmth that once filled ancient Roman homes, and continues to drift calmly through time. The quiet of the evening deepens. The streets outside the walls grow softer. Footsteps echo only, faintly, and inside the Roman home, the warmth continues to move gently through stone and brick, carrying with it the slow rhythm of daily life, from room to room, from person to person, from family to family. There is no hurry, no sense of urgency, only the steady presence of heat that allows bodies to relax and minds to quiet. Even the smallest details contribute to this calm, the placement of a hearth, the layering of cloth on benches, the careful stacking of fuel, all done with gentle purpose, all done in silence. In wealthier homes, the hypercaust system moves its heat beneath floors, and along walls, pillars carry the warmth evenly so that a person can sit or walk without feeling sudden changes in temperature. It is slow and invisible, and yet its effect is profound. Each tile and each stone becomes a soft partner in the comfort of the household. People move through the house naturally, from atrium to triclinium, from small chambers to larger halls, and the heat follows them, quietly, never drawing attention to itself, simply allowing the body to settle. Even in modest homes, people discovered ways to live with warmth. Fires were small, placed in central areas. The smoke, drawn away carefully through chimneys or open windows. Families adjusted their positions, children closer to the glow, elders nearer the walls that retained heat, and evenings were spent in the slow rhythms of conversation and quiet work, washing and preparing meals, mending cloth, sorting simple tools, all performed near the warmth, all performed without rush, allowing both body and mind to remain calm, and the smoke, soft and faint, drifts gently upward, carrying the smell of burning wood or charcoal. Nothing sharp, nothing harsh, only familiar and ordinary. Clothing also contributed to this slow warmth, linen and wool wrapped around the body in gentle layers, not restrictive, not tight, but protective against the subtle chill that lingered in early mornings and late evenings. And as people moved through their day, they adjusted naturally, adding a layer here, removing one there, all part of the quiet conversation between body and environment, a conversation that required attention but never demanded it, because the rhythm of life provided cues, the rising sun, the cool tiles underfoot, the movement of air through a narrow corridor, all suggested when to gather closer to warmth and when to drift away. Courtyards provided a pause, a space for light and air, but also a subtle temperature buffer. Sunlight falling slowly across stones, gentle and soft, shadows lengthening, and the heat from the day lingering in walls and floors. The courtyard is never dramatic. It never commands attention. It simply exists, allowing life to continue without abrupt interruption, and as night approaches, families would naturally gravitate inward. The outer walls keeping the cool air at bay, the inner rooms holding the warmth as a gentle promise. Food and water were treated with the same calm awareness. Pots simmered slowly near the fire. Water was warmed carefully. Bread baked in ovens that held heat evenly. All movements timed so that no sudden chill would disturb the body. Even the act of eating became intertwined with warmth. Seating arranged near the softest heat. Meals taken with quiet attention. Conversation soft. Laughter gentle and infrequent. All designed to maintain comfort and slow the evening toward rest. And as you continue to sink into the story, the rooms stretch longer in your mind. The floors hold warmth beneath them. The walls breathe it softly. The people move without rush, and the night flows steadily through the house. From atrium to tablinum, from small bedroom to kitchen, every space carrying its own gentle measure of heat, and every movement within that space is softened by habit and understanding. Nothing sudden, nothing sharp, everything intended to ease the body and calm the mind. The story drifts with you now, slowly, gently, allowing each detail to become part of the quiet rhythm of sleep. The night stretches on, and the gentle heat beneath floors continues its quiet work, rising slowly through stone and tile, touching each room with even warmth, allowing the household to move without discomfort. The aroma of smouldering wood and faint smoke drifts through corridors barely noticed, soft and ordinary. The walls themselves seem to hold onto the memory of the day. The warmth of the sun, the touch of human hands, all lingering quietly to meet the cooler air of evening. People shift slightly as they move from room to room, feet brushing over warm mosaic floors, hands trailing across wooden furniture, the body noticing without effort, the mind calm, aware only of soft, even comfort. In larger homes, the hypercaust hums without sound, its pillars hidden beneath the floorwork, carrying heat gently to distant rooms. The triclinium is warmed enough to welcome a quiet meal. The bedrooms are cozy without being stifling. The halls feel calm under the subtle influence of heat, and throughout all these spaces the rhythm of life flows slowly. Families settle into predictable patterns, meals and conversations timed to the gentle rise and fall of warmth. No one rushes, no one worries, everything moves with quiet precision. Even in the smaller, more modest homes the same principles apply. Fires are tended patiently, flames kept small, embers nurtured slowly, fuel used thoughtfully, so that warmth continues steadily through the night. Families gather closer together, children near the glow, elders near walls that hold heat the longest. All movements soft, all routines measured. Simple work continues quietly near the warmth, repairing cloth, preparing food, tidying small spaces. Each act slow, soft, repeating patterns of comfort and order. Clothing complements the heat, layers of wool and linen gently wrapped, soft fabrics absorbing warmth from the body and the fire alike, not constricting, not sharp, just steady. Movements remain unhurried, hands lifting cups of warm water, feet adjusting, blankets, heads turning slowly toward conversation, or rest, or intertwined with the flow of heat throughout the home. An ongoing conversation between body and environment, predictable, soothing, quiet. The design of the home itself serves warmth. Thick walls absorb the day's sun, releasing it slowly through night. Windows placed to prevent drafts. Corridors narrow to hold in heat. Rooms arranged inward toward protected spaces. Courtyards serve as gentle buffers, allowing light without letting cold intrude. The architecture works without notice. Everything is done to support calm and comfort, every detail intentional, yet understated, never calling attention to itself, just softly present. Even meals are part of this rhythm. Pots simmer near fires. Steam rises softly into the room, bread baked with patient care, water warmed gradually, family members seated in predictable patterns, near warmth, conversation quiet, laughter gentle. All movements considered without thought, comfort carried in every gesture. The story of warmth continues softly, spreading from room to room, from floor to walls, from body to body, each moment folding seamlessly into the next, the household alive without sound, yet filled with presence. And as you drift further into the story, the quiet of ancient Rome wraps around you, rooms, fires, walls, and floors all carrying heat, all supporting calm, all reminding the body to settle, evenings stretching long and slow, mornings approaching gradually, light creeping softly across stone, floors, gentle reminders of comfort and routine, a rhythm older than memory, known to everyone, yet quiet enough to almost forget, but present always, a soft companion to rest. The morning begins. With barely noticeable shifts, light creeps slowly across mosaic floors, touching the warmth that has lingered through the night. The air is cool but gentle, not harsh, and as the household awakens, the heat beneath the floors continues quietly, moving steadily through stone and tile, allowing bare feet to feel soft underfoot, hands to rest easily on warm surfaces, and the mind remains calm, unhurried. People rise slowly, preparing for the day with deliberate care, adjusting cloth around shoulders, checking the small thighs, nodding quietly to one another, the rhythm of life, unfolding without urgency. Breakfast is taken near the glow of warmth, small portions of bread and fruit, water warmed over a gentle flame, each movement careful, each gesture familiar. Conversations, soft and measured, no sharpness, no sudden changes. The body feels steady, supported by the invisible presence of heat moving through the home, from the atrium to smaller chambers, from the kitchen to sleeping quarters, all spaces connected in a gentle web of comfort. Children move quietly across warm floors, their small feet noticing the difference between tiles warmed by the hypercost and stones still cool. They play softly in areas nearest the fire, learning from the environment without needing instruction, sensing where warmth gathers, where comfort resides, and as they pause to eat or fold simple cloths, the heat follows unobtrusively, continuing its slow, even presence, invisible yet perceptible, a quiet partner to daily life. Evenings arrive with the same measured grace, fires lit early, smoke minimal, embers maintained carefully, rooms chosen for gathering, the household gradually drawing inward, the city outside fading into softer sounds, and inside the walls of the home warmth is steady, allowing conversation to drift lightly from one topic to another, from task to rest, and from activity to quiet reflection. Each moment unfolds without demand, without interruption, a gentle flow carrying bodies and minds toward sleep. Roman architects and builders understood these rhythms intuitively. Walls thick and absorbing, corridors narrow and protective, windows placed for minimal drafts, tiles chosen to conduct and store warmth. Each element intended to preserve comfort without calling attention to itself. Even the hypercaust was designed for invisibility, its pillars hidden, its heat rising silently, supporting life in the background like a steady, soft breath, never demanding focus, simply present. Daily routines moved in harmony with warmth. People shifted closer to fires, checked the embers, prepared food, sorted cloths, mended tools, each action deliberate yet unhurried, family members moving through the home in familiar patterns, always aware of temperature and comfort without conscious effort, habit guiding behavior, the body and environment in quiet conversation. An ongoing dialogue carried out in silence and soft repetition. And as you continue to drift in the story, the Roman home extends endlessly in your mind, rooms flowing into one another, warmth moving without notice, hands brushing tiles, feet shifting gently, fabrics absorbing heat, walls releasing it slowly, the day unfolding in a soft rhythm, morning light to evening shadow, all following the gentle cycle of warmth and habit, inviting you to remain calm, to feel each moment stretch and to rest alongside the quiet persistence of ordinary life. The sun moves higher in the sky, and the warmth that began slowly beneath the floors now reaches its quiet peak. Light pours gently through windows, falling across stone and tile, softly highlighting the textures of walls and furniture. The air feels steady, neither too warm nor too cold, and throughout the home life continues at an even pace, small tasks carried out with patience, pots stirred gently, cloths folded neatly, feet moving slowly from one warmed space to another, and each action is accompanied by the subtle presence of heat, perceptible but not urgent, like a soft hum beneath the body. Brooms are arranged to preserve this calm. The atrium receives the morning light, its floors warmed gradually by the sun, and the surrounding chambers benefit quietly. A bedroom may hold the gentle radiance from the hypocast. Another small kitchen corner maintains a warmth drawn from the embers of a slowly tended fire. Every space has its own measure of comfort, all woven into the life of the home. Movement becomes a dance of subtle awareness, of following warmth without thought, and the mind drifts easily from one simple observation to the next, noticing the soft ripple of heat across a stone step, the faint glow of firelight reflecting off a tile, the muted scent of embers and bread, all small details blending into a quiet narrative. In modest homes, the same principles shape life. Even without the high boast, the fire is tended slowly, placed where the family gathers, embers nurtured with care, and warmth moves naturally from the center outward. Children and elders cluster in the most comfortable areas, tasks adjusted to the slow accumulation of heat, cooking done near the glow, cloths repaired where warmth lingers, evenings arranged around the fire rather than away from it. The household follows a rhythm that is calming, steady, predictable, a rhythm repeated daily, softening both body and mind. Clothing and blankets play a quiet role. Linen and wool absorb heat and retain it close to the body. Layers added or removed according to subtle changes in temperature. Movement through the home becomes gentle guidance. Feet on warm floors, hands touching tiles and wood, heads turning to follow conversation or task, and all the while the warmth remains constant, unobtrusive, never demanding, simply present, a companion to slow life. Courtyards and open spaces allow air and light to move softly, but walls retain warmth. The balance of shade and sunlight creates gentle microclimates. Rooms nearest the courtyard receive filtered warmth, while inner chambers remain steady, a careful, quiet orchestration of comfort. The architecture itself participates in the life of the household, stone absorbing heat by day, releasing it gradually by night, doors and shutters guiding, movement willed as placed to minimize drafts, all elements serving the calm maintenance of warmth. Meals continue to follow this gentle rhythm, bread baked slowly, water warmed carefully, pots simmering softly near the fire, families gathering in areas where warmth is optimal, conversation low and even, hands reaching for warm food and drink, every gesture softened by familiarity and habit. The body adapts to the environment automatically. The mind feels the ease of this order, and the evening stretches longer with the quiet presence of heat moving beneath and around every room. And as you listen, let your thoughts drift along these stone floors, through the slow unfolding of daily life, from atrium to bedroom, from kitchen to quiet hall, warmth following every step, touching each hand and foot, a soft companion to movement, and the rhythm of life continues, slow, steady, calming, without urgency, without drama, allowing sleep to approach gently and your body to sink deeper into ease. The evening descends softly. The sun lowers behind tiled rooftops, shadows stretch across mosaic floors, and the warmth beneath the stone continues its quiet journey, moving steadily from room to room, from the atrium to the small chambers, from the kitchen to the sleeping quarters. Nothing abrupt, nothing demanding attention, just a slow, even presence. The family moves without hurry, children pausing to fold cloth, adults tending fires and preparing small meals, each motion guided by habit and the gentle comfort of heat. In wealthier homes, the hypocaust maintains an invisible rhythm. Pillars hidden beneath floors deliver warmth evenly. Walls absorb and release it quietly. Rooms become gentle havens. The triclinium holds the family for their evening meal. The bedrooms are cozy enough to encourage rest. Corridors feel steady and calm. All spaces connected in a subtle web of comfort. Movement throughout the house is soft and considered. Hands touch warm tiles, feet glide over surfaces that have stored the day's sun, and the mind relaxes into the slow rhythm of life. Even smaller homes follow a similar quiet. Pattern, fires tended carefully, embers nurtured, families drawing inward toward the glow, children and elders closest to the warmth, simple meals prepared slowly, small tasks carried out near the fire, cloth mended, food washed, tiles brushed gently, each act performed deliberately, without rush, the body and environment in soft conversation, the heat a steady companion, never loud, never intrusive, just present. Clothing and blankets continue to interact with this quiet rhythm, linen and wool layers absorbing the warmth, adjusted gently as the air shifts. Movement through rooms becomes an intuitive response to temperature, feet feeling the difference between sun-warmed stone and cooler tiles, hands resting on warm furniture, heads turning slowly toward conversation or quiet reflection, all integrated into the calm flow of life, habit and environment guiding each movement. Architecture reinforces this natural rhythm, thick walls retaining heat, corridors and courtyards shaping airflow, windows placed to limit drafts, rooms arranged inward, all quietly designed to preserve comfort. The hypocaust hidden beneath floors, its heat rising silently, supporting daily life. Like a gentle breath, present but unobtrusive, the household moves through its day and night in harmony with the warmth. Meals remain part of this slow cycle, pots simmering softly near the dont fire, bread baking gradually, water warmed carefully, family members seated near optimal warmth, conversation muted and steady, gestures slow and familiar. The body adapts naturally, the mind feels ease. Evening stretches long, every movement softened by the subtle, steady presence of heat. And as you continue to listen, the Roman home unfolds in your imagination, rooms flowing seamlessly into one another, warmth rising quietly from floors and walls, hands brushing tiles, feet shifting gently, fabric absorbing heat, walls releasing it slowly. Time moves at a calm pace, morning to evening, evening to night, each moment carrying the subtle, persistent comfort of daily life, inviting rest, inviting calm, allowing sleep to come softly and steadily. The night deepens further, the city outside grows hushed, footsteps fade to distant echoes, and inside the Roman home the warmth continues to move quietly through stone and brick, from atrium to tablinum, From small chambers to larger halls, each room carrying its gentle share, allowing bodies to relax, minds to settle, and the household to follow its unhurried rhythm. Fire embers glow softly, pots of water and food release faint steam. The smell of wood and warmth hangs gently in the air, soft and familiar, unnoticeable except by the subtle comfort it brings. In wealthier homes, the hypercaust remains a quiet partner. Pillars beneath floors conduct heat evenly, walls absorb and release it slowly. Triclinium and bedrooms alike benefit from its hidden presence. Movement through rooms is calm. Hands brushing warm tiles, feet gliding over stone, that carries the day's memory. The mind drifts without effort. Time passes gently, each member of the household moving through spaces with quiet intention. There is no rush, only steady, consistent comfort. In modest homes the patterns are similar. Small fires nurtured carefully, embers coaxed to continue radiating heat. Families draw inward toward the gentle glow. Children near the dew. Warmth yield as close to the walls that retain it longest. Even simple tasks are aligned with comfort. Cloth mended, water warmed, meals prepared and eaten slowly. Every motion deliberate but soft-id habits guiding movement. The warmth an invisible companion, present but unobtrusive. Clothing continues to play a quiet role. Layers of wool and linen absorb heat and retain it near the dido. Body adjusted naturally with the shifting air, feet moving across warm floors, hands resting on furniture, heads turning in calm awareness, all movements softly guided by the presence of heat, habit, and environment in gentle dialogue, unhurried and steady. Courtyards provide a subtle balance, open air filtered through walls and arches, light and shadow moving slowly across floors, sunlight warming tiles during the day, stone retaining this warmth into evening, inner rooms drawing from this quiet source, a soft orchestration of comfort without fanfare, architecture participating silently in daily life, walls, floors, pull, and ceilings working together, every element intended to preserve ease. Even meals follow this rhythm, pots simmering quietly near fires, bread baked slowly, water warmed gradually, families seated in areas of optimal comfort, conversation low and even, gestures soft and measured. The body responds naturally, the mind feels ease. Evening stretches long and soft, every motion cushioned by the persistent presence of warmth. And as you continue to rest in this story, imagine the home unfolding endlessly, warmth moving from floor to wall, from room to room, hands touching tiles, feet shifting over smooth stone, fabrics absorbing gentle heat, walls releasing it slowly, days passing softly into nights, nights into mornings, all carried in the calm, persistent rhythm of ordinary life. A rhythm that invites you to release tension, to sink deeper, to rest alongside the quiet presence of warmth and habit, allowing sleep to come gradually and naturally. The night stretches on. The moonlight drifts softly across rooftops, slipping through small windows, casting pale patterns on mosaic floors, and the warmth beneath the stone continues to rise slowly, moving unobtrusively through every room, from atrium to cubiculum, from kitchen to sleeping chamber, each space holding its own quiet measure of comfort. People move gently within. It's hands brushing tiles, feet shifting over stone, the body responding naturally to the steady heat, the mind calm and untroubled. In the wealthier homes, the hypercaust carries warmth, silently, pillars beneath floors ensuring even distribution, walls storing heat from the day, triclinium, bedrooms, and small corridors all feeling a subtle steadiness. Family members move without urgency, conversations soft, gestures measured. Even as tasks are completed, they are done slowly, cloth folded, food prepared, pots stirred quietly, the presence of heat underfoot, and along walls offering a calming rhythm. In more modest homes, the fire itself is tended with care, embers nurtured to maintain steady warmth. Families drawn inward toward the gentle glow, children near the coals, elders by the walls that retain heat longest, every activity paced to match the slow accumulation of comfort, cooking, washing, mending, all performed with deliberate calm. The heat a silent partner to daily life, never commanding attention, simply sustaining ease. Clothing and textiles interact with the warmth. Wool and linen layers absorb heat, retain it near the body, adjusted naturally as the air shifts. Movement becomes intuitive, feet on warmed tiles, hands touching furniture, heads turning softly in. Conversation, habit, and environment creating a quiet, steady dialogue. No urgency, no demand, only gentle presence. Courtyards and open spaces provide gentle airflow. Filtered sunlight warms stones. Walls retain heat from the day. Inner chambers, drawing from this subtle reservoir, all designed to maintain comfort without noticeable effort. Architecture silently participating in the rhythm of life. Thick walls, narrow corridors, carefully placed windows, all elements supporting the slow, even presence of warmth. Meals are taken near the glow, bread baked gradually, water warmed gently, pots simmering softly, family seated in areas where warmth is most comfortable, conversation muted, hands moving slowly, gestures soft, the body adapts naturally, the mind relaxes, evening extends leisurely, every action cushioned by the steady presence of heat. And as you drift further into this story, imagine the room stretching endlessly, warmth moving from floor to wall, hands brushing warm tiles, feet shifting across stone, fabric absorbing heat, walls releasing it slowly, each moment blending into the next. Days unfolding softly into nights, nights stretching into mornings, all part of a calm, persistent rhythm. A rhythm that allows you to sink deeper, to feel each detail of quiet life, and to rest alongside the invisible. Gentle warmth that has sustained Roman households for centuries, allowing sleep to arrive naturally, softly, steadily, and without effort. The night carries on. The city outside becomes almost silent. The distant sounds of carts and footsteps fade, leaving only a soft hush. Inside the Roman home, the warmth beneath the floors continues its gentle journey, touching each room with slow consistency. From atrium to small bedrooms, from kitchens to halls, every space quietly prepared to support rest. The body senses it even without thought, hands resting on warm tiles, feet brushing softly over smooth stone. The mind drifts lightly, following the rhythm of heat through space. In the larger homes, the hypercaust works unseen, pillars hidden beneath floors conducting warmth evenly, walls absorbing and releasing it gradually. Rooms feel calm. The triclinium is soft and inviting, bedrooms cozy and steady, corridors connecting spaces with subtle comfort. Family members move quietly, gestures gentle, conversations soft, each action measured without urgency, cloths folded, pots stirred, tasks performed calmly, all guided by habit and the steady presence of heat. Smaller homes follow the same quiet pattern. Ma, Mars kept glowing. Families gather near the source of warmth. Children close to the fire, elders near walls that retain heat. Longest daily activities paced with care, cooking and cleaning done slowly. Cloth repaired near the warmth, meals eaten in the comfort of heat, the household moving in a rhythm that is soft, unbroken, and calming. The heat never demanding, always present. Clothing continues to harmonize with the environment, linen and wool layers absorbing warmth, retaining it close to the body, added or removed. Gently as the temperature shifts, movement through the house becomes a conversation with heat. Feet finding the warmest paths, hands resting on soft surfaces, heads turning toward quiet speech or small tasks. The body and environment in subtle dialogue, habit guiding every motion. Courtyards provide balance, allowing filtered air and light, sunlight warming stones slowly, walls storing heat. From the Dayu inner chambers drawing from this quiet reserve, architecture participating without noise, walls, floors, ceilings, and windows all orchestrating comfort. Every detail contributes to a calm and steady presence of warmth. Even meals follow the same soft rhythm. Pots simmering quietly, bread baked gradually, water warmed gently, family members seated where warmth is most steady, hands moving slowly, gestures measured, conversation low and even, the body resting into the comfort of heat, the mind drifting into calm, evening stretching into night, each movement cushioned by warmth. And as you continue to rest here, the Roman home unfolds in your mind, warmth moving silent through floors and walls, hands brushing tiles, feet shifting lightly, fabric holding heat, walls releasing it gradually, time flowing slowly, days into nights, nights into mornings, every moment part of a calm, persistent rhythm. A rhythm that allows the body to relax, the mind to soften, and sleep to arrive naturally, softly, steadily, and without effort. The first light of dawn filters softly through high windows, touching the warm stones of the atrium. The tiles that held the night's heat still radiate a gentle comfort. A thin layer of mist clings to the outer walls, cool and delicate, but inside the house the body is cocooned by slow, even warmth. The aroma of faint embers and slowly brewing water drifts through the corridors. Hands adjust blankets. Feet shift over familiar stone. The mind remains calm, observing without effort, sensing the subtle shift from night toward day. The preparation for morning moves quietly. Fires are stoked just enough to maintain steady heat. Pots placed to warm water or gently cook small grains. Cloth sorted or folded in soft repetition, every action deliberate but unhurried. Family members emerge from their chambers, their movements guided by intuition rather than instruction. Children stepping lightly, noticing warmer patches of floor. Adults carrying small vessels of water, feeling the steady heat beneath them. Even the floor itself seems to respond, holding comfort where it has been absorbed. Sunlight begins to pass through the atrium at a shallow angle, lighting portions of the floor while leaving other areas in gentle shadow. The hypercaust beneath continues its unseen labor, pillars carrying heat silently, walls releasing a soft radiance that touches the outer edges of rooms. Each chamber now has its own gradient of warmth, subtle and imperceptible but wholly present. The household moves into its tasks seamlessly, some tending the kitchen, some arranging cloths, others quietly observing the interplay of light and heat. Water, warmed slowly over embers, is used for small rituals of cleanliness. Hands washing with gentle attention, faces touched with warmth and care. Even these minor acts are conducted deliberately. The texture, motion of water, the shifting temperature of stone, the scent of smoke and warmth, all coalescing to create a space that supports the body in ease. No sudden changes, no sharp movements, just the continuity of comfort and quiet action. Breakfast is arranged in spaces where heat accumulates naturally. Pots and bowls moved carefully to keep warmth near those who will eat first. Children seated where floors are warmest. Adults closer to embers and tiles that retain gentle heat. Conversation rises softly, never abrupt. Hands moving slowly to lift bread or pour water. Every gesture tempered by the persistent presence of warmth. Even the smallest movements guided by the subtle language of comfort throughout the house. Architecture and habit work together. Thick walls and narrow corridors minimize drafts. Windows placed high capture light while holding in heat. Courtyards provide measured ventilation. Inner rooms benefit from sun and masonry alike. Every element of construction participates quietly in the creation of a calm, balanced environment. Habit and routine reinforce it. Family members move predictably. Guided by the accumulated knowledge of generations, the warmth flows naturally, an invisible companion. Even in minor details, attention is evident. Pots shifted to capture gentle heat. Textiles laid carefully to hold warmth near the body. Fire embers nurtured with patience. Tiles brushed lightly to prevent cold. Patches, hands brushing over surfaces, feeling subtle differences in temperature. Small daily chores aligned with the pattern of warmth rather than fighting it, all creating a continuous soft rhythm. As the day progresses, rooms are gradually filled with light. The hypercaust continues to sustain subtle warmth, floors, walls, and furnishings absorbing and releasing heat in unnoticeable increments. Movements remain deliberate. Tasks undertaken slowly, the household drifts through the day in an unbroken flow, steps guided by sensation of temperature, hands feeling the softness of cloth or the solidity of stone, conversations gentle, gestures measured, all harmonizing with the invisible current of warmth. By midday, the home has a quiet consistency, no corner too cold, no chamber too warm, each area occupied as needed. Tasks continue at a calm pace, pots stirred, water poured, cloths adjusted, children play softly on warmed floors. Aware instinctively of comfort, adults work with patience, and the heat that began with the rising sun and slow hypercaust continues to support each moment. The body acclimated, the mind untroubled, every action integrated into a subtle, persistent rhythm. Even small courtyards contribute. Sunlight filtered by walls and arches falls gently on stone. Air moves slowly, temperature gradients forming naturally. Inner rooms remain steady. The household benefits without noticing the orchestration. Architecture quietly shaping experience. Stone, brick, wood, and tile participating in sustaining calm. Each element of construction as much a tool of comfort as any fire or garment. And as the afternoon drifts slowly toward evening, the story continues. Warmth moving through every floor, every wall, every chamber, hands brushing tiles, feet shifting over stone, textiles absorbing heat, walls releasing it gradually, the household moving in unbroken patterns, soft conversations, gentle tasks, each moment blending seamlessly into the next, a persistent, quiet rhythm carrying bodies and minds toward rest, inviting the listener to settle alongside it, to feel its continuity, to allow ease to deepen. The light of late afternoon softens, long shadows stretch across the atrium, tiles that held the sun's warmth release it slowly. A gentle gradient of heat moves through each room. The hypercaust continues quietly beneath floors. Pillars hidden from sight conduct warmth evenly. Walls store and radiate it with subtle persistence. Family members drift through the house at a calm pace. Hands touch warm surfaces. Feet glide over heated tiles. The body senses comfort almost instinctively. The mind remains untroubled. Tasks continue in their unhurried rhythm. Small chores performed near sources of heat. Cloth mended. Water stirred. Pots tended. Children play softly, shifting positions to follow the warmth. Adults move deliberately, carrying vessels and adjusting fabrics. Conversations rise in muted tones. Gestures slow and gentle. Everything shaped by the persistent presence of warmth. A rhythm older than memory, soft, predictable, sustaining ease. Meals are prepared gradually. Bread baked near embers, water warmed over small fires, pots simmering with quiet care. Family gathers where warmth is steady. Hands reach for food. Slowly, conversation remains calm, every motion guided by comfort, no abrupt movements, no urgency. The body relaxes into the heat, the mind follows without effort. Courtyards contribute subtle balance, sunlight filtered through arches, warm stone gradually, shadows lengthen, air moves lightly. Inner rooms receive filtered warmth, every architectural feature participating quietly in comfort. Walls thick and absorptive, windows placed to prevent drafts, corridors designed to retain heat, rooms arranged inward, habit-reinforcing design, every detail supporting calm. Clothing continues its quiet work. Linen and wool absorb and retain heat, layers added or removed as needed. Movements guided by intuition, hands brushing tiles, feet finding warm paths, heads turning softly toward conversation or task, body and environment in gentle dialogue, habit shaping every action, the household moving seamlessly through the rhythm of warmth. By evening the home is suffused with steady heat, every room carrying a comfortable measure, hands, feet, and fabrics absorbing it, walls releasing it slowly. The family gathers inward, children near embers, elders by warm walls, small tasks carried out gently, pots stirred, cloth folded, water poured, conversations low and soft, the body acclimated, the mind settled, each movement integrated into a continuous, calming flow. Evenings extend slowly, the hypercost humming invisibly, stone and tile radiating warmth, the architecture and human habit working together, rooms connected by invisible currents of comfort, corridors linking spaces, courtyards buffering drafts, every element quietly orchestrating ease, movements deliberate and familiar, conversation soft, hands and feet moving naturally. The Carl household progressing in a rhythm designed to support rest, and as night approaches fully, the moonlight brushing over rooftops, the city softened into distant quiet, the Roman home continues its gentle pulse of warmth, each chamber a reservoir of calm, hands resting on warm tiles, feet gliding over stone, textiles holding heat close to the body, walls releasing it slowly, time moving without hurry, morning folded into afternoon, afternoon into evening, every moment part of the unbroken rhythm, allowing body and mind to sink deeper, inviting the listener to follow along, to relax completely, to drift closer to sleep. The night deepens further. Moonlight falls softly across rooftops and courtyards. Tiles that absorb sunlight during the day release it slowly. A subtle heat rises from beneath floors, spreading quietly through each room, from atrium to bedrooms, from kitchens to small chambers, every corner holding its own measure of warmth. The family moves without urgency, hands brushing warm surfaces, feet shifting lightly over stone, the body sensing comfort, the mind calm, observing the gentle flow without effort. In the larger homes the hypercost continues, its silent work, pillars hidden beneath floors conducting warmth evenly, walls storing and radiating heat gradually, triclinium and bedrooms softened by its presence, hallways connected in a calm, steady rhythm, family members performing tasks slowly, cloth folded, pot stirred, water poured gently, conversation muted, gestures measured, all actions guided by habit and the quiet current of warmth. In smaller homes, fires are tended with patient care, embers coaxed to maintain steady heat, families naturally gathering near the glow, children close to the fire, elders by walls that retain warmth longest, daily chores adjusted to the subtle movements of heat, cooking, washing, mending, all performed deliberately, the warmth acting as an invisible companion, present but unobtrusive, supporting calm and continuity. Clothing and textiles remain part of this rhythm, linen and pot, wool layers absorbing warmth, retaining it close to the body, movement guided by the gentle cues of temperature, feet finding warm paths, hands touching surfaces, heads turning softly to attend. Conversation or task, body and environment in quiet dialogue, habit directing motions without thought. Courtyards allow filtered air and light. Walls absorb heat during the day and release it slowly. At night, inner rooms drawing from this subtle store. Architecture working silently to maintain balance. Thick walls, narrow corridors, carefully placed windows. Every element participating in preserving comfort. Every space shaped to hold warmth naturally. Habit reinforcing design. Meals continue their soft rhythm. Pots simmering. Slowly, bread baked over gentle heat, water warmed carefully, family seated where warmth is most comfortable, hands moving with calm deliberation, conversation quiet and even, gestures soft, the body relaxed by persistent heat, the mind following without strain, evening stretches leisurely, every motion cushioned by steady warmth. By late evening the home is fully immersed in heat, walls and floors releasing it gradually, hands, feet, and textiles absorbing warmth, the household moving inward, children near embers, elders by warm walls, small chores carried out quietly, cloths folded, pots stirred, water poured, all movements, aligned with the invisible rhythm of heat. And as you settle further into this story, imagine the Roman home unfolding endlessly, warmth moving beneath floors, walls releasing it slowly, hands brushing warm surfaces, feet gliding over stone, fabric holding gentle heat, rooms connected in a soft rhythm, days folding into nights, nights into mornings, all carried in the calm, persistent presence of warmth, inviting your body to relax, your mind to soften, and sleep to arrive gently, steadily, without effort. The night stretches even deeper. The city outside lies, quiet, only distant. Muffled sounds drift through the streets. Inside the Roman home, warmth moves almost imperceptibly, rising from the floors, lingering along walls, touching every chamber with steady comfort. Hands rest on tiles, feet shift lightly over stone, the body feels supported, the mind drifts. Following the gentle pulse of heat without effort, movement through the house is deliberate, soft, familiar. In the larger homes, the hypercaust continues to work, silently, pillars beneath the floor conducting warmth evenly, walls absorbing and releasing it slowly. Rooms feel calm, the triclinium and bedrooms inviting rest, hallways connected in a soft, consistent rhythm. Family members continue their quiet routines, cloth folded, pots tended, water poured, conversation muted, gestures gentle, all guided by the invisible current of heat. Smaller homes mirror this gentle order, fires nurtured carefully, embers maintained to radiate steady warmth, families gathering near the glow, children close to coals, elders near walls that retain heat. Longest, tasks paced with care, cooking and cleaning done slowly, cloth mended quietly, every motion aligned with comfort, warmth acting as a silent companion, present yet unobtrusive, clothing and textiles remain part of the soft rhythm, linen and wool absorbing and retaining heat, layers added or adjusted intuitively, movement guided by sensation, feet seeking the warmest paths, hands touching surfaces, heads turning slowly to follow conversation or task, habit guiding motions, body and environment moving in quiet harmony. Courtyards contribute subtle balance, sunlight filtered through, arches during the day, walls storing heat for the evening, air moving gently, inner rooms receiving soft, even warmth. Architecture orchestrating comfort without effort, thick walls, narrow corridors, strategically placed windows, all elements working in concert. Habit reinforcing the design. Meals continue at a slow pace, pot simmering quietly, bread baking gradually, water warmed softly. Family, seated in areas of optimal warmth, hands moving deliberately, gestures soft, conversation gentle, bodies relaxed by heat, minds drifting calmly, evening stretches longer, every action cushioned by warmth. By the late night hours, the house is suffused with steady heat, walls and floors, slowly releasing stored warmth, hands, feet, and textiles absorbing it, the family settling inward, children near embers, elders by warm walls, small chores performed quietly, pots stirred, cloths folded, water poured, all movements integrated with the subtle rhythm of heat. And as you continue to drift in this story, the Roman home unfolds around you, warmth moving silently beneath floors, walls releasing it gently, hands brushing warm, tiles, feet shifting softly over stone, textiles holding heat, rooms connected in an unbroken rhythm, time passing slowly, days folding into nights, nights into mornings, all carried by the calm, steady presence of warmth, inviting your body to sink further, your mind to soften, sleep approaching naturally, softly, steadily, without effort. The hours of night deepen even further. The moon rises higher, casting a pale, silver light across rooftops. Long shadows stretch across the courtyards and inner rooms. The cool air outside contrasts softly with the warmth that persists inside. Floors radiate the memory of the day, tiles still carrying the gentle heat absorbed from the sun and hypercast. Walls release their stored warmth slowly, every surface a soft partner to comfort, hands resting on the warm tiles, feet shifting lightly over stone, bodies sinking into the gentle rhythm of heat, minds relaxed, thoughts soft and drifting. In the larger homes, the hypercost works silently, pillars beneath the floor, distributing warmth evenly, walls acting as slow reservoirs, radiating heat gradually into atrium, triclinium, and bedrooms, corridors linking spaces with invisible threads of comfort. Family members move slowly, hands brushing wood and stone, feet adjusting to patches of warmth, tasks completed without rush, cloth folded, pot stirred, water poured gently, conversation muted, voices calm, gestures soft, all in sync with the quiet pulse of warmth that moves steadily through the house. In smaller homes, warmth is more immediate but equally deliberate, fires coaxed with patience, embers maintained carefully, families drawn inward toward the gentle glow, children close to coals, elders near walls, retaining heat longest, all activities paced according to the slow accumulation of warmth, cooking performed gradually, cloth repaired quietly, small chores executed softly, the household moving in a rhythm defined by comfort. Warmth as an invisible companion, present yet unobtrusive, guiding the body to ease, the mind to rest. Clothing and textiles interact with the warmth naturally. Linen and wool absorb heat, retaining it close to the body. Layers added or removed intuitively. Feet shifting across warm patches of floor, hands resting on furniture that radiates gentle heat, heads turning, slowly in conversation or small tasks, the environment and the body in constant, soft dialogue, habit directing movement, every action unhurried, each step aligned with the subtle pulse of heat. The architecture of the home itself reinforces the flow of warmth, thick walls absorb and release heat, corridors narrow to retain it, windows placed high to prevent drafts, courtyards buffering air movement, inner rooms drawing on stored warmth from walls and floors, every detail, deliberate, every choice enhancing comfort, habit and structure working together, creating a sanctuary where the rhythm of life is calm, steady, and predictable. Even the preparation of meals follows this quiet cadence, pot simmering gently, bread baking slowly, water warmed gradually, Family members seated in areas of greatest comfort, hands moving softly, gestures deliberate, conversation low, and even every act performed without urgency, bodies acclimated to the gentle temperature, minds at ease, evening stretching seamlessly into night, every movement cushioned by warmth. The presence of children adds to the gentle rhythm. They move softly, learning to follow warmth instinctively, their bare feet finding the warmest tiles, hands brushing smooth stone surfaces, small games carried out slowly, voices low, their energy tempered by habit and environment, parents attending quietly, adjusting cloths, moving pots, stirring embers, all actions conducted in harmony with the subtle, persistent warmth. Throughout the night, the hypercaust continues to operate quietly, pillars hidden beneath floors carrying heat to every room, walls storing and releasing it gradually, the triclinium and bedrooms equally benefited, corridors remain steady, every space maintaining a soft temperature gradient, human movement, conversation, and simple work aligned seamlessly with this invisible rhythm, while the presence of heat unobtrusive, never demanding attention, but constantly shaping comfort. Even minor details are observed with gentle care, pots shifted to keep warmth accessible, tiles brushed to prevent cold patches, cloth folded near warm areas, fire tended slowly, water poured carefully, hands brushing warm stone, feet stepping on heated surfaces, all actions integrating seamlessly into the soft flow of household life, the body responding naturally, the mind observing quietly. The courtyards maintain a subtle role, allowing filtered air to circulate, walls absorbing and releasing heat, light falling gently across stone surfaces, inner rooms drawing from this quiet reservoir, architecture participating silently in daily rhythm, walls, floors, ceilings, and windows all contributing to the calm, persistent presence of warmth, habit reinforcing design, every element sustaining ease as the household continues its evening rituals. Food prepared and eaten slowly, pots stirred softly, bread handled carefully, water warmed just enough, families seated where warmth is most reliable, hands moving deliberately, conversation quiet and even, all bodies and minds acclimated to comfort. Evening. Stretching out unhurried, every motion cushioned by steady heat, the home seems to exist in multiple layers of warmth. Floors radiating heat upward, walls releasing it gradually, furniture holding warmth from previous tasks, cloth absorbing and retaining it near the body. A soft, unbroken circulation of temperature moving invisibly, allowing the household to function calmly, without urgency, without discomfort, every moment integrated into a slow, persistent rhythm. As the hours pass, the night deepens. Moonlight softening the edges of walls and corridors, tiles still warm under bare feet, hands brushing surfaces that hold gentle heat, fabric, layers retaining warmth, all of these small, subtle details forming a continuous presence. The rhythm of daily life now merging with the rhythm of warmth, steps, gestures, meals, rest, everything flowing together in unbroken calm. And as the night continues, the Roman home extends endlessly in your imagination, warmth moving beneath floors and along walls, hands brushing warm surfaces, feet shifting softly over stone, textiles holding heat, walls releasing it gradually, every space connected in a soft warm, steady rhythm, days folding into nights, nights into mornings, all carried in the calm, persistent presence of warmth, inviting your body to sink deeper, your mind to soften, sleep, arriving naturally, steadily, without effort. The first pale light of dawn slips through small windows, touching the cool, smooth tiles of the atrium. A thin layer of mist hangs in the courtyard. The morning air is quiet and soft inside. The remnants of last night's warmth still linger. The hypercaust has cooled only slightly. Stones retain a gentle heat beneath the soles of bare feet. A young child tiptoes across the floor, curious, her small hands brushing the edge of a low wooden table. The faint smell of last night's bread still lingers in the air. In the kitchen, a slow fire has been coaxed back to life. Embers glow softly beneath a simple bronze pot. Steam rises gently from a small pot of water. The cook, a woman in a linen tunic, moves with deliberate care. She adjusts the pot slightly, stirs with a wooden spoon, each movement unhurried. The warmth of the fire radiates slowly, her fingers brushing over the cool stone. Count are you, the contrast gentle, almost imperceptible. Nearby, a small dog curls against the warmth of a sun-warmed wall. Its breath soft and even, tail twitching slightly in a dream. The household begins to stir quietly. An elder stretches slowly, rolling shoulders and back, hands brushing the floor for balance, feet shifting over tiles that still hold the night's heat. The body wakes in tandem with the gentle pulse of the home. No sudden movements, no abrupt sounds, only the soft rhythm of life resuming. The atrium begins to fill with filtered sunlight. Mosaics on the floor glint softly, tiny fragments of coloured stone catching the light. A faint warmth radiates from the patterns. The family gathers slowly, linen garments rustle as they move, hands brushing wooden frames of chairs. The cook brings over a small bowl of warm porridge, steam curling upward, its faint aroma mingling with the lingering scent of embers. Outside the courtyard, a gardener moves lightly among the small herb beds, damp soil clinging softly to fingers. The leaves glisten with morning dew, every action deliberate, the rake scraping gently across earth. The sound, soft, rhythmic, soothing, sunlight warming the back of the gardener's tunic, the warmth mirrored in the floors of the house, inside and out. Comfort flows quietly. Breakfast unfolds in silence, family seated near the softest heat, hands moving slowly, spoon dipping into warm porridge, bread torn carefully, a small child tasting each bite, deliberately, the dog shifting closer to the hearth, the cook's hands moving gently over pots, all motion slow, soft, unhurried. Even the sunlight seems to move lazily across the walls, a calm stillness settling over the household. After breakfast, small tasks begin, cloth folded carefully, water carried from the cistern, sweeping done with soft, rhythmic strokes. Each movement quiet, hands brushing over wood and stone, feet moving slowly over warmed tiles, a sense of continuity, the home breathing with life in gentle cadence, the pulse of warmth following each step. In the private bedrooms, light filters through curtains, linen sheets glimmer faintly, the morning warmth seeps in from sun-warmed floors, a mother smooths the blanket around a child, fingers brushing the soft fabric, feet resting on tiles that are neither hot nor cold. The child stirs gently, yawns. The household seems to exhale. A slow, peaceful rhythm taking hold. Later, the family begins preparations for the midday meal. Pots brought forward, water warmed slowly, spices measured with gentle care, loaves arranged on the table, every movement deliberate. Conversation, quiet and low, hands brushing surfaces, feet shifting across warm stone, the rhythm of domestic life continuing steadily. In the courtyard, the gardener waters herbs and vegetables, drops of water falling softly onto soil, the sound muted, sunlight warming tiles beneath feet, gentle breezes carrying faint scents of rosemary and thyme, birds moving quietly through the garden, feathers glinting in the light. All the while, the warmth of the hypercourse beneath the house continues its silent work, slow, steady, unobtrusive. Children wander softly from room to room, their small hands touching warm tiles, curiosity tempered by the calm of the household, a toy pushed gently across the floor, the sound muted by rugs and textiles, each moment unhurried, each motion integrated into the soft rhythm of home life. The afternoon sun shifts, light moving across walls and mosaics, the floors retaining heat from morning, hands brushing tiles, feet stepping lightly. The household adjusts, curtains drawn slightly to keep light and warmth balanced, water carried gently from one room to another, cloths folded, pots stirred, all actions blending seamlessly into the ongoing calming rhythm. As evening approaches, the air cools slowly, embers in the kitchen fire glow faintly. The hypercaust radiates a gentle warmth through floors, walls releasing their stored heat. Family members begin to gather near the softest areas, hands resting on warm stone, feet shifting to comfortable patches, conversation muted, gestures soft, every movement contributing to the calm, steady atmosphere. Night falls fully, moonlight filters through open windows, tiles still radiate the accumulated heat of day, walls holding warmth, every room carrying its quiet, gentle comfort, hands brushing warm surfaces, feet gliding softly, cloth and textiles holding heat close to the body. The household settles inward, children near the hearth, elders by warm walls, small chores performed softly, pot stirred, cloth folded, water poured, all motions integrated with the invisible rhythm of warmth. And as you listen, the Roman home stretches endlessly in your imagination, warmth moving beneath floors, walls releasing heat, gradually, hands brushing surfaces, feet shifting over stone, textiles holding gentle heat, rooms connected in unbroken rhythm, days folding into nights, nights into mornings, all carried in the calm, persistent presence of warmth, inviting your body to sink deeper, your mind to soften, sleep, arriving naturally, steadily, without effort. Very well, let us drift further into the quiet life. Ancient Rome. The afternoon moves gently forward. Sunlight warms the atrium in soft, shifting patterns. The tiles underfoot hold the accumulated heat from the morning. The triclinium is quiet. A small breeze drifts in from the courtyard, rustling the leaves of potted plants, though gardener's soft footsteps patter against stone, hands brushing the cool surfaces of walls, his fingers lingering over mosaics, noticing each tiny detail. In the kitchen, a pot simmers, gently, water and grains mingling, steam rising softly. The cook moves with slow, deliberate steps, checking the fire, stirring carefully, every motion measured, the scent of warm bread beginning to rise, soft and comforting. The family moves nearby, hands brushing over polished wooden tables, feet shifting across the polish, heat-retaining tiles, the mind calm, the body adjusting naturally to the subtle warmth. A child tiptoes across the courtyard, bare feet pressing against warm stone, hands tracing the edges of a low stone fountain, water rippling quietly, sunlight catching the droplets. The dog lying nearby lifts its head slowly, tail brushing the floor, then settles back down, all motion gentle, all sound muted. You, the household existing in soft harmony with warmth and light. Yield. Later. The mother carries a basket of freshly washed cloths, linen soft and warm, hands folding carefully, the warmth of the hypercaust beneath floors moving through the house, touching furniture, walls, textiles, everywhere subtle, unobtrusive. She moves through corridors, tiles warm beneath her feet, sunlight casting long shadows across mosaic patterns, the air filled with quiet domestic rhythm. In a private bedroom, the father reads slowly, scroll unfurled across his lap, hands brushing over the papyrus, feet resting on the warm tiles, the soft creak of leather sandals echoing faintly as someone enters. The child quietly places a small toy beside him. The candlelight flickers softly, casting gentle shadows along the walls, the heat from floor and wall creating a calm cocoon. Every detail observed, slowly. Nothing abrupt, nothing urgent, The courtyard glows in late afternoon. Herbs and vegetables bathed in soft sunlight. Dew long gone. A faint scent of rosemary and thyme rising. The gardener kneels carefully, hands moving gently through soil, feet pressing lightly on warm stones, all motions deliberate, calm, integrated into the subtle pulse of the home, birds flitting quietly through sunlit spaces, feathers catching light, the breeze moving through branches, softly, peacefully, as the family begins to gather for a small afternoon meal, pots lifted carefully from the stove, bread arranged on wooden boards, water poured slowly, every gesture measured, hands moving gently, conversation subdued, feet adjusting over heated tiles, the warmth enveloping bodies, the mind floating in. Quiet observation, every element part of a consistent, unbroken rhythm. Later, children retreat to small corners of the home, playing quietly with toys, hands brushing worn tiles, feet shifting to sunny patches. The dog yawns and curls again, soft breathing filling the warm room. Parents perform small tasks, folding cloths, stirring pots, water carried slowly from one chamber to another, all motions gentle, unhurried, coordinated with the quiet pulse of the hypercaust. Evening begins to settle. Light fades from the atrium. The fire in the kitchen glows softly, embers radiating warmth. The hypercaust beneath continues its invisible work, walls releasing gentle heat, every room carrying subtle, consistent warmth, hands resting lightly on smooth stone, feet shifting softly, conversation low and measured, gestures calm, every motion part of the soft, persistent rhythm. A small breeze drifts through open windows, curtains swaying gently, the family moving inward toward hearths and warm walls, children curling near embers, elders near thick walls, pot stirred, cloth folded, water poured, all motions coordinated with the invisible rhythm of heat, every element of the household aligned with comfort. Night falls fully, the moonlight glides across rooftops, tiles still warm, walls releasing stored heat, the house enveloped in gentle, soothing warmth, hands brushing surfaces, feet gliding over stone, textiles holding heat, rooms linked in soft, continuous rhythm, all movement deliberate, quiet, calm, days folding into nights, nights into mornings, every detail contributing to steady comfort, inviting the listener to sink deeper, mind softening, body relaxing, sleep arriving naturally, steadily, without effort. The first light of a winter morning filters softly through small, frost-dusted windows, the sky pale and quiet. Outside, the cobblestone streets glimmer faintly with thin layers of frost. Inside, the kitchen fire has been tended slowly, embers glowing like quiet stars. A copper kettle sits atop the stove, steam curling gently upward. The aroma of spiced porridge mingles faintly with the scent of clean linens. A young servant moves carefully, carrying a small bowl to the triclinium, hands brushing against wooden surfaces, feet treading lightly over stone floors. In the atrium, a thin layer of frost still lingers near the open doorway. Light glints across the marble tiles. A small cat curls near the hearth, its breath visible in the cool air, soft purring filling the room. Child lifts a warm blanket from a chair and settles near the fire, hands pressing the fabric to the cheeks, feeling the slow transfer of warmth, the household breathing quietly around her, all movements unhurried, gentle. The cook begins to knead dough, hands pressing slowly, folding and turning with measured patience, flour dusting the air softly, the motion rhythmic, soothing. The bread will rise over hours, steady and calm, the sound of kneading mingling with distant birds calling in the cold morning. The light shifting gradually across the courtyard, walls catching the sun's first rays, stone warming imperceptibly. In the bedroom, a scholar sits by a small desk, Scrolls spread carefully, hands brushing across smooth papyrus, eyes moving slowly over letters, feet tucked under the warm rug, a gentle exhale of breath visible in the crisp air. Candlelight flickers along the walls, shadows moving quietly. A small bell tinkles softly in the distance as the household shifts to its morning rhythm, every motion deliberate, calm. Through the courtyard, a gardener checks the winter herbs, rosemary and thyme stiff in the cold, hands brushing softly over leaves. Tiny crystals of frost catching the light, water poured carefully over roots, droplets, landing quietly, soft patter against stone, sunlight warming portions of the wall, tiles underfoot catching the heat from the morning light, each action slow, purposeful, peaceful, mid-morning brings. Small chores, clothes washed and hung to dry, linen swaying softly in the faint breeze, hands rubbing gently, water moving quietly over fabric, stones in the courtyard glinting faintly, small brushes, sweeping dust from floors, gentle, measured strokes, feet stepping carefully over cooled tiles, the household moving like a slow, coordinated dance, each task mindful, calm. At midday, the triclinium is prepared for a light meal, loaves set on wooden boards, cheese placed carefully, fresh herbs sprinkled in small dishes, water poured slowly into cups, family gathers quietly, hands moving deliberately, conversation soft, measured, the child tasting a piece of bread slowly, dog resting at the feet of the elder, the sun overhead creating soft, shifting shadows across the floor, all elements blending in a gentle rhythm of domestic life. Later, the house settles into afternoon routines, small repairs attended to, cloth patched, tools arranged neatly, hands brushing over stone and wood, feet finding warm paths across sunlit floors, children reading softly or tracing letters in clay tablets, servants moving quietly through corridors, every motion unhurried, each task part of the soft, persistent flow. In the evening, the family gathers in the atrium, windows closed against the cold, embers glowing faintly in the kitchen hearth, lamps lit with steady flames, soft illumination across walls, tiles holding gentle heat. From the day, hands resting on surfaces, feet shifting lightly, conversation low and soothing, a sense of continuity filling the space, no abrupt movements, no sharp sounds, all integrated into the calm pulse of household life. Night falls fully, moonlight glimmers across frosted rooftops, quiet streets echo faintly with distant footsteps. The home is wrapped in gentle warmth and soft illumination. Hands brush surfaces, feet move across tiles, textiles holding subtle heat, family members nestle into comfortable positions, children curling near hearths, elders resting by. Walls, small chores finished, water poured, cloth folded, every motion aligned with the gentle, steady rhythm of domestic life. And as the night continues, the house, the family, the courtyard, and the surrounding streets unfold in the imagination. Soft light reflecting off mosaics, hands and feet moving gently, clothes and fabrics holding warmth. The rhythm of daily life continuing in slow, deliberate flow, days folding into nights, nights into mornings, every element of the household contributing to calm, inviting the listener to sink deeper, mind softening, body relaxing, sleep, arriving naturally, steadily, without effort. As the late afternoon sun begins to fade, a gentle chill touches the edges of the courtyard, shadows lengthen across the stone tiles. A servant carries a small basin of warm water into the triclinium, hands steady, movements slow. The light glints off the water's surface, tiny reflections dancing on the walls. A child dips fingers carefully into the basin, warmth spreading through small hands. A soft laugh, quiet and low, drifts through the room. The dog lifts its head briefly, then curls back into a ball. All is slow, soft, deliberate. In another room, the family prepares for the evening bath. Water poured into a shallow stone basin, steam rising in thin curls, linen garments removed and folded neatly, the air fragrant with dried herbs, lavender, rosemary, and faint smoke from the hearth, hands brushing gently across tiles as the floor is swept before use, feet shifting lightly to avoid cold patches. Every action a small, unhurried ritual. The bath is quiet and warm, water lapping gently against stone edges, hands submerged slowly, soft ripples moving outward. The child plays with a small wooden toy floating across the water, parents watching calmly, each motion measured, the flicker of a small lamp illuminating the walls, shadows moving softly, every surface reflecting warmth and light, the air carrying faint scents of herbs and soap. A quiet intimacy pervades the space. After the bath, clothing is donned slowly, linen and wool absorbing the remaining warmth. Hands brushing fabrics over shoulders, feet finding gentle paths across heated tiles, the household moving toward the evening. Meal, pots lifted carefully, bread placed on wooden boards, water poured into cups, cheese, olives and small fruits arranged thoughtfully, conversation soft, gestures slow, every motion integrating seamlessly into the steady rhythm of life. Outside, the city streets take on a different quiet. Vendors pack up small goods, carts creaking softly over cobblestones, horses shifting their weight with muted thuds, faint smoke rising from distant hearths, the moon casting pale silver light across tiles and rooftops, the scent of bread and wood smoke lingering faintly, the distant call of an owl echoing through empty alleys. All sounds calm, soft, sleep-inducing. In the household, the family gathers near the hearth, hands resting on warm surfaces, feet pressing lightly against heated tiles, children curling against blankets, elders seated on low benches, small chores, finished pot stirred, cloth folded, water poured, every motion aligned with the quiet pulse of domestic life, no abrupt movements, no sudden sounds, all elements harmonizing. The triclinium glows softly by the lamp's gentle flicker, walls absorbing warmth from the floor, tiles reflecting dim light, hands moving deliberately, gestures slow, conversation hushed, evening extending lazily, the household moving as one unbroken rhythm, all senses engaged gently, sight, touch, smell, nothing sharp, nothing urgent. Later, the servant opens the shutters slightly to watch the night sky, stars scattered softly, the moon glinting off distant tiles. The gentle breeze drifts in, carrying faint scents of the garden, lavender, rosemary and earth. The household adjusts, hands brushing surfaces, feet finding soft paths, linen and wool holding warmth close, every motion careful, quiet, soothing. As the night deepens, the household settles inward, children asleep near the hearth, parents reclining on benches or low beds, hands brushing warm surfaces, feet gliding softly over tiles, textiles holding gentle heat, small lamps flickering, walls retaining warmth from the day, the pulse of household life slowing, breath steady, eyes closing, the rhythm of domestic existence echoing softly. And as you drift along through warm tiles, glowing hearths, quiet courtyards, gentle baths, and soft evening meals, the Roman home unfolds endlessly in your imagination, hands touching surfaces, feet moving lightly, cloths holding warmth, rooms linked in a continuous rhythm, days folding into nights, nights into mornings, every detail contributing to calm, inviting the listener to sink deeper, mind softening, body relaxing, sleep arriving naturally, steadily, without effort, deep in. The night, the household rests quietly, the fire in the kitchen hearth reduced to gentle embers, a faint glow illuminating the edges of clay pots, the floor tiles still holding the soft warmth of the dull day. A child sleeps curled against a folded blanket. A small cat stretches and curls again. The air carries a faint scent of bread baked earlier, mingling with the aroma of herbs, lavender and rosemary lingering faintly. The room still and soft in the atrium. Moonlight drifts through open windows, silver patterns falling across mosaic floors, hands of statues catching the faint glow, their calm faces seeming to watch over the household. Soft shadows stretch slowly across the walls, the hush of night wrapping everything in a gentle rhythm. The body senses warmth in stone and fabric, feet pressing lightly against tiles, hands brushing smooth surfaces, all motion slow, unhurried, in the small study. The father tends to a low lamp, scrolls laid carefully on a wooden desk, hands tracing faint ink marks, eyes following letters slowly, feet tucked beneath him. The candle flickers, sending tiny dancing shadows across the walls, the sound of a page turning soft and deliberate. Even the turning of the scroll feels measured, a gentle intimacy with knowledge, quiet, rhythmic, comforting. Outside, the quiet streets of Rome are muffled, carts no longer rolling, distant dogs asleep in corners. Only the faintest rustle of leaves in the night breeze, the stars reflected faintly in puddles left from a winter rain, the air crisp and cold, but within homes, warmth persists quietly, a contrast felt subtly. Hands touching stone walls, tiles holding residual heat, feet seeking comfort, the body attuning to its surroundings. Back in the kitchen, the cook stirs quietly, a small stew left from the day, aroma rising softly, hands brushing wooden ladles, feet stepping carefully over tiles, movement slow and deliberate. Even the act of stirring becomes rhythmic, a soft meditation, the quiet intimacy of labor in the stillness of night. A servant moves through the corridors, water carried from one room to another, steps light and careful, hands brushing doors and tables, the sound soft, barely audible. Tiles warmed by sunlight hours before still holding heat. Every motion performed in gentle, unbroken rhythm. The household breathing together in calm synchronization. In the bedrooms, children shift in sleep, small limbs stretching slowly, hands brushing the edge of blankets. The elders turn gently, the warmth of clothing and textiles preserving comfort. Soft sighs filling the air, each breath slow, steady, aligned with the pulse of life within the walls. Even the faint ticking of a small lamp or the crackle of a dying ember seems deliberate, calm. Toward the courtyard, a small breeze stirs, branches rustle faintly. The scent of damp earth and herbs rises from the winter garden. Moonlight illuminates frost on stone, tiles catching and reflecting the pale glow. A gentle rhythm emerges from nature itself, matching the calm of the household, feet stepping softly, hands brushing lightly, every motion attuned to quiet and comfort. Later, in the triclinium, a quiet moment of reflection, family gathered near a low lamp, hands brushing warm pottery, eyes tracing mosaics on the floor, the colors soft and muted in lamplight, conversation minimal, gestures slow and deliberate, the warmth of the room blending with the calm of thought. Even the silence itself becomes part of the rhythm, soft, reassuring, sleep-inducing. As midnight deepens, embers fading. In the hearth, tiles cool but retain gentle heat, walls exhale their stored warmth. Linen and wool layers cocoon the sleeping, hands resting lightly, feet tucked softly, children dreaming quietly, small animals curled near warm patches, the entire household wrapped in gentle presence, a pulse of calm extending through rooms and corridors, unbroken. Outside, the city remains hushed. Distant chimneys exhale smoke quietly, stars glimmering in a darkened sky, winds whispering faintly through narrow streets. No urgent sounds, no sharp movements, Only the soft rhythm of night mirrored inside the homes, tiles, stone, cloth, fire, all participating quietly, each element in unison. And as you continue to drift through warm corridors, frost-lit courtyards, quiet streets, sleeping children, flickering lamps, soft embers and delicate shadows, the Roman world unfolds endlessly in your imagination, hands brushing surfaces, feet moving lightly, cloths and fabrics holding subtle warmth, rooms linked in soft, continuous rhythm, days folding into nights, nights folding into mornings, every detail contributing to calm, inviting your body to sink deeper, your mind to soften, sleep arriving. Naturally, steadily, without effort, the first light of dawn seeps softly through frost-kissed windows, the sky pale, almost silver, the rooftops of Rome faintly glimmer under the winter sun inside the household. The fire has been rekindled, embers glowing quietly in the hearth, steam rising from a small bronze kettle, hands holding warm cups of water, feet pressing softly against tiles that still carry a gentle residual heat, the air fragrant with faint traces of yesterday's bread and dried herbs, lavender and thyme lingering subtly. A servant carries a small basket of fresh fruits into the pole. Atrium, tiny droplets of morning dew still clinging to the skins, hands brushing lightly over wooden surfaces, tiles beneath feet cool but familiar. A child stirs from sleep, blanket shifted, gently tiny fingers brushing at the warmth of the hearth, small yawns stretching into soft sighs. Even the dog lifts its head slightly, then settles back. All is unhurried, calm, softly rhythmic. In the kitchen, the cook begins to prepare a slow breakfast. Water warmed in a bronze vessel, grains measured carefully, bread arranged to be sliced slowly, hands moving deliberately, the scent rising. Gradually, soothing, faint steam curling upward, a small breeze drifts in through the window, carrying the faint aroma of distant gardens, rosemary, thyme, damp earth. The household senses awakening together, all movements synchronized with quiet warmth. The atrium glows faintly in the morning light, mosaic floors catching it subtly, patterns shifting, softly as shadows move, hands brushing along the edges of low tables, feet finding comfortable patches on stone, cloths folded neatly, linen smooth and soft. The family gathers slowly, conversation subdued, gestures measured, every motion deliberate, calm, integrated into the rhythm of early morning life. In the courtyard, the gardener moves with soft steps, hands brushing over frost-tipped herbs, tiny crystals reflecting faint sunlight, water poured carefully onto roots, drops pattering softly against stone, sunlight warming small patches of tiles, birds flitting quietly, feathers catching gentle light, every movement slow, purposeful, peaceful, the rhythm of nature echoing the calm of the home. Mid-morning continues in quiet domestic pace. Small repairs attended to, cloth mended, tools arranged, water carried gently, floors swept with measured strokes, hands brushing furniture, tiles beneath feet warmed. By the morning sun, children exploring slowly, small tasks learned through soft repetition, all contributing to the unbroken pulse of daily life. Soft, soothing, slow, midday. The triclinium is prepared for a light meal, loaves arranged on boards, cheese, olives, and small fruits placed with care, water poured into cups, family seated calmly, hands moving slowly, conversation minimal, gesture soft, all bodies acclimated to warmth, the faint aroma of herbs and bread lingering, sunlight shifting across walls, floor mosaics catching pale light, the household moving as a single, gentle rhythm. Later, the family takes a quiet stroll through the courtyard, tiles warm from the morning sun, hands brushing along low stone walls, children curious but careful, soft laughter, subdued. The dog padding lightly beside them, herbs releasing their fragrance, roses and thyme filling the air, small breeze moving through branches, sunlight glinting off mosaics, every step deliberate, every motion integrated with calm. As afternoon progresses, small household routines continue. Pots stirred, cloths folded, water carried, children playing quietly with wooden toys, hands brushing warm tiles, feet moving slowly, conversation soft, barely above breath, even the smallest sound gentle, all coordinated with the pulse of domestic life, warmth, light, scent, and quiet rhythm blending seamlessly. Evening approaches, light softening, shadows stretching across floors, embers glowing faintly in the hearth, small lamps lit with steady flame. The family gathers near warmth, hands resting lightly on surfaces, feet pressing gently against warmed tiles, conversation hushed, gestures deliberate, children leaning on elders, all motions in harmony with thee. Household steady rhythm, night arrives fully, moonlight casting silver across rooftops and courtyards, tiles retaining soft heat, walls slowly releasing warmth. The household settles inward, hands brushing surfaces, feet gliding over stone, linen and wool holding subtle warmth, small lamps flickering, every movement deliberate, quiet, soothing, sleep arriving naturally, steadily, without effort. Well, late at night, the city outside is hushed. Cobblestone streets glimmer faintly under pale moonlight, distant rooftops soft in silver shadow. Only a few small lanterns flicker along narrow alleys inside the household. The hearth glows faintly, embers exhaling a gentle warmth, hands resting lightly on smooth tiles, feet pressing softly against stone, linen and wool layers holding the remaining heat of the day. Small animals curled nearby, soft breathing filling the quiet rooms, all movements deliberate, calm, unhurried. In the kitchen, a cook moves silently, a pot of water warms slowly, her hands brushing lightly against clay and bronze, steam rising softly, the faint scent of bread and herbs lingering in the air. A small child tiptoes quietly, curiosity tempered by the hush of night, hands brushing over warm surfaces, feet stepping carefully. Even the faint squeak of a wooden chair seems muted, every motion part of a steady, gentle rhythm. In the atrium, moonlight filters through high windows, mosaic floors glint softly, hands tracing edges of tables and benches, feet pressing lightly on warmed tiles. The dog stretches and curls again, its tail brushing softly against stone. Small sighs drift from sleeping children. Even the shadows seem to move slowly, deliberately, all aligned with the pulse of domestic life. Soft, steady, soothing. The study is quiet, scrolls laid carefully across the desk, hands brushing lightly over papyrus, candle flickering. Softly, shadows stretching across walls and floor. The sound of a page turning gentle, measured. The scholar's breath, slow and calm. Every motion quiet, controlled. Even the faint shifting of chairs becomes part of the rhythmic hush. The home seems to breathe along. Outside, a light breeze stirs the winter garden, branches rustling softly, dew glinting in the pale moonlight, herbs and vegetables still moist. The gardener moves gently among them, hands brushing leaves, feet pressing lightly on frost-hardened tiles, water poured softly, drops falling with faint patter, birds ruffling feathers quietly, all motion deliberate, peaceful, slow. As midnight deepens, family members settle into the warmest corners of the home, hands resting on smooth surfaces, feet tucked under blankets, linen and wool holding gentle heat, small lamps casting a soft glow, conversation hushed or absent, the pulse of domestic life slowing, breath steady, eyes closing, all elements contributing to calm. a gentle lull embracing the household. A child shifts in, sleep. Tiny hands brushing the edge of a blanket, the dog lifts its head briefly, then curls again. The elder adjusts a low pillow, hands lingering briefly on a warm tile, all motions quiet, measured, the household existing in soft, steady rhythm. Outside, distant chimneys release faint smoke, stars scattered across the sky, winds whisper through empty streets, soft, rhythmic, gentle. In the kitchen, the last embers glow faintly. The cook, now resting, smooths the cloth over a table, hands brushing lightly, the scent of herbs, bread, and warm water filling the quiet air, every motion deliberate, every movement part of the calm cadence of life. Tiles beneath feet warmed faintly from the day, walls releasing residual heat, all contributing to comfort, soothing, slow. The night stretches onward, the city sleeps, the household moves softly within itself, hands resting lightly, feet pressing gently against stone, linen and wool absorbing subtle warmth, lamps flickering, embers glowing faintly, tiles, walls, textiles and bodies in delicate harmony, every element part of a gentle, steady rhythm, soft, unbroken, inviting the mind to float, the body to sink, sleep, arriving naturally, without resistance. And as you drift through quiet streets, frost-tipped gardens, glowing hearths, soft lamps, gentle baths, and peaceful family routines, the Roman household unfolds endlessly in your imagination. Hands brushing surfaces, feet moving lightly, textiles holding warmth, rooms linked in continuous rhythm, days folding into nights, nights into mornings, every detail contributing to calm, inviting your body to sink deeper, your mind to soften, sleep arriving naturally, steadily, without effort. The first pale light of dawn drifts across the rooftops, a soft silver brushing over the stone tiles. In the quiet streets, shadows stretch and shift. The city breathes slowly inside the household. The fire in the kitchen hearth blows faintly, embers exhaling gentle heat, steam rising from a bronze kettle, hands holding warm cups, feet pressing softly against cool tiles, linen and wool holding subtle warmth. The faint scent of herbs and bread lingering in the air, lavender, rosemary, thyme, all soft, unobtrusive. A servant moves carefully through the atrium, carrying a small basket of fresh fruits and eggs, hands brushing lightly against polished wood and stone. Tiles beneath feet cool but familiar. A child stirs in a low bed, blankets shifted gently, tiny fingers brushing the warmth of the hearth. The dog lifts its head briefly, then settles back, everything slow, calm, measured. In the kitchen, the cook begins preparations for the morning meal, water warmed in a bronze vessel, grains measured carefully, loaves sliced and arranged, hands moving deliberately, steam curling upward, aroma rising, gradually, soft, soothing. A small breeze drifts through the open window, carrying the faint fragrance of herbs and damp earth. The household awakens gently, all movements synchronized with quiet warmth. The atrium glows faintly in the early light, mosaic floors catching it subtly, patterns shifting slowly as shadows move, hands brushing along low tables and benches, feet finding comfort on smooth tiles, linen folded neatly. The family gathers slowly, conversation subdued, gestures measured, every motion deliberate, calm, part of the soft rhythm of early morning life. Outside, the gardener moves among the small winter herbs, frost-tipped rosemary and thyme, hands brushing leaves, water poured carefully onto roots, tiny drops landing softly on stone, sunlight warming small. Tiles beneath feet, birds flitting quietly, feathers catching the light, all movements slow, purposeful, peaceful. Nature echoing the calm of the household. Mid-morning brings quiet domestic routines, clothes washed and hung, linen swaying gently in a faint breeze, hands rubbing softly, tiles reflecting light, floors swept with measured strokes, feet stepping carefully, children exploring. Slowly, small tasks learned through patient repetition, all contributing to an unbroken pulse of domestic life. Soft, soothing, unhurried. By late morning, the triclinium is prepared for a light meal, loaves arranged on boards, cheese, olives, small fruits placed thoughtfully, water poured slowly, family seated calmly, hands moving deliberately, conversation minimal, gestures soft, bodies acclimated to warmth, faint scent of bread and herbs, lingering, sunlight shifting across walls, mosaic floors catching pale light, household moving as a single, gentle rhythm. Later, the family moves to the courtyard, tiles warmed by the morning sun, hands brushing along low stone walls, children exploring slowly, soft laughter subdued, dog padding beside them, herbs and flowers, releasing gentle fragrance, branches swaying lightly in a faint breeze, sunlight glinting on mosaics, steps deliberate, every motion integrated into the calm pulse of home life, afternoon routines. Continue. Pots stirred, cloth folded, water carried, children playing quietly, hands brushing warm tiles, feet moving slowly, conversation soft, even the smallest sounds gentle, all coordinated with the pulse of domestic life, warmth, light, scent, rhythm blending seamlessly. Evening approaches, light softening, shadows stretching across floors, embers glowing faintly in the hearth, small lamps lit with steady flames, family gathers near, warmth, hands resting lightly on surfaces, feet pressing gently against heated tiles, conversation hushed, gestures deliberate, children leaning on elders, all motions harmonizing with the households. Steady rhythm. Night falls fully, moonlight casting silver across rooftops and courtyards, tiles retaining soft heat, walls releasing warmth slowly, the household settles inward, hands brushing, surfaces gliding over stone, linen and wool holding subtle warmth, small lamps flickering, every movement deliberate, quiet, soothing, sleep arriving naturally, steadily, without effort. Streets of Rome awaken slowly, soft light brushing across the cobblestones, faint plumes of smoke rising from chimneys, the air crisp with winter chill, shops opening gradually, small signs of life. Moving softly, a baker carries a basket of warm bread, hands brushing the edge of the basket gently, feet stepping lightly, the scent of fresh loaves drifting along narrow alleys, warm, comforting, subtle. In a nearby courtyard, a potter begins to shape clay, hands pressing slowly, fingers tracing the curves of a vessel, soft friction against palms, the wheel turning steadily, water dripping lightly, tiny splashes hitting the stone floor, the rhythm calm, meditative. Even the faint sound of the wheel becomes part of the morning's gentle pulse, sunlight filtering through open windows, glinting off smooth clay, soft shadows moving slowly across walls. Market stalls begin to hum with quiet activity, a vendor arranging olives in small clay bowls, hands moving deliberately, tiles beneath feet catching the sun's faint warmth, children wandering, nearby, softly laughing, careful not to step too close to the baskets. The scent of herbs and fruits mingling, lemon, thyme, rosemary, soft, almost imperceptible, the city alive, yet hushed, peaceful, slow. In the household, preparations for midday continue, linen folded carefully, pot stirred, water poured gently, hands brushing over smooth wood and polished stone, feet finding the warmest tiles, the dog padding softly. Across the floor, children learning small tasks, moving deliberately, every motion gentle, part of a steady, unbroken rhythm. A festival is being prepared nearby, banners hung quietly along narrow streets, lamps trimmed with olive oil, hands brushing fabric slowly, the scent of fresh flowers mingling with bread and herbs, the sound of distant hammers shaping small metal tools, soft, rhythmic. The city preparing for celebration in a calm, methodical pace, not loud or abrupt, gentle, soothing. In the kitchen, the cook attends to midday meals, potions stirred slowly, aromas rising gradually, herbs sprinkled carefully, bread sliced and arranged, hands brushing surfaces, feet shifting across sun-warmed tiles. Children seated near the hearth, quiet conversation, measured, calm. Even the clinking of ceramic cups soft and deliberate, every element harmonized with warmth and light. In the courtyard, the gardener tends small beds, hands brushing over leaves, dew glinting faintly in sunlight, water poured carefully onto roots, tiny splashes landing softly on stone, birds flitting quietly, feathers catching the light, soft, rhythmic movements, purposeful, peaceful, every motion part of the gentle pulse of life. By afternoon, the triclinium is bathed in gentle light. Family gathers for a light meal, hands moving slowly, loaves broken carefully, cheese, olives, and fruits eaten deliberately, water poured gently, conversation soft, minimal, gestures slow, all bodies acclimated to warmth, sunlight shifting across walls and floors, mosaic tiles reflecting faintly, the household moving as a single, calm rhythm. Evening approaches, light softening, shadows stretching across floors, embers glowing faintly in hearths, small lamps lit, hands resting lightly on surfaces, feet pressing gently against, warmed tiles, conversation hushed, gestures deliberate, children leaning on elders, all motions harmonizing with the household's steady rhythm, the pulse of life slow, soft, unbroken. Night falls. Fully, moonlight glimmers across rooftops and courtyards, tiles holding faint warmth, walls releasing heat slowly. The household settles inward, hands brushing surfaces, feet gliding over stone, linen, and wall layers holding subtle warmth. Small lamps flickering, every movement deliberate, quiet, soothing, sleep arriving naturally. Steadily, without effort, the city lies hushed, streets empty, save for the occasional distant clatter of a cart settling into place. Lamps casting soft pools of light, shadows stretching lazily across walls and rooftops. The Tiber flows gently, its surface reflecting the silver glow of the moon, ripples moving softly. A faint breeze carries the smell of wet earth and herbs from nearby gardens. Even the distant hoot of an owl is muted, gentle, rhythmic, inside a quiet household. The family is wrapped in the warmth of hearth and textiles. Embers in the kitchen glow faintly, soft light spilling across polished wooden surfaces, tiles still retaining the subtle heat of the day. Hands brushing lightly over tables and benches, feet pressing gently against the warmed stone, linen and wall layers holding the body close, children asleep, curled against blankets, small animals nestled near the hearth, all motion calm, unhurried, soothing. The father moves slowly to a small study, scrolls laid neatly across a desk, hands brushing over, papyrus, fingers tracing letters softly, candlelight flickers across the walls, shadows dancing slowly, breath even, mind quiet, feet resting lightly on warm tiles, every motion deliberate, all elements harmonized, the quiet rhythm of thought blending with the hush of night outside. The Tiber glints faintly, water moving silently past stone embankments, a soft breeze rustling reeds along the banks, faint murmurs of distant traffic long ceased, boats moored, swaying slowly, the river reflecting silver light, slow and steady. Even the stars seem to shimmer in gentle rhythm. The city sleeping under a calm, watchful sky. Back in the household, a servant moves softly, carrying a small basin of water for washing hands, steps light, hands brushing along wooden surfaces, Every motion measured, even the sound of flowing water is soft, deliberate, children shifting slightly in sleep, their hands brushing the edges of blankets, the dog curling closer to the warmest patch of tiles, all life moving gently. In the atrium, moonlight filters through high windows, mosaic floors reflecting pale silver, hands tracing edges of tables and low benches, tiles beneath feet cool but familiar, linen arranged neatly, the scent of herbs and faint smoke from the hearth filling the air, all sensations subtle, soft, comforting. The cook sits quietly near the hearth, hands folded lightly on her lap, embers blowing faintly, faint, aroma of spiced bread lingering, soft breath, slow. The rhythm of household life now a gentle hum, tiles, walls, textiles and bodies in delicate harmony. Every sound, motion and light muted, peaceful, sleep-inducing. Later, the family stirs slightly in the deep night, hands brushing lightly over warm surfaces, feet gliding softly, small lamps flickering in the shadows, linen and wool cocooning bodies, the household moving as one unbroken rhythm. No abrupt movements, no sharp sounds, all coordinated with the pulse of warmth and calm. The night settles completely now, the city of Rome resting beneath a quiet sky. Lamps are dimmed to their softest glow, embers in the hearth breathing their final warmth into stone and tile. Walls hold the day's heat gently, releasing it slowly and patiently, as if the house itself is breathing. Inside the rooms, everyone has grown still. Blankets are drawn close, linen and wool resting softly against skin. Feet no longer search for warmth, hands rest peacefully, and the dog curls in its favorite place near the fading embers. The air is calm and steady, filled with the faint scent of ash and herbs. Outside, the Tiber continues its endless movement, slow water gliding past stone banks. Moonlight stretches across its surface, soft ripples carrying reflections far downstream. Boats rock faintly, ropes creaking just enough to remind the night that time is still passing. The streets are quiet now, no footsteps, no voices, only the gentle presence of buildings that have stood for generations. Their walls remember countless nights like this one, nights of warmth preserved, of careful fires tended, of families resting safely within. Breath becomes slower and deeper, thoughts loosen their hold, images blur softly, warm floors, low flames, quiet rooms, all drifting together, the past fading gently into rest. And as the Roman night continues on, unaware of centuries yet to come, you are free to drift as well, away from stone and fire, away from history and time, into a place of quiet warmth where nothing is required, nothing is waiting, only rest slow, steady, and deep. The sky lightens gradually, pale streaks of gold and pink stretching across the horizon. The Tiber flows quietly, water rippling slowly over smooth stones, a faint mist rising from the riverbanks. The city awakens in a slow, deliberate rhythm, boats moored along the edge, their ropes creaking softly in the gentle breeze. The smell of damp earth and faint smoke drifts from distant hearths, soft and subtle, peaceful. In a small household near the river, the first rays of sunlight slip through shuttered windows. Tiles are warmed by early light, hands brush lightly over smooth wood, feet press gently against stone. Linen and wool hold the subtle heat of the previous day. A child stirs, stretching slowly, tiny hands brushing the edge of a blanket. A soft yawn. The dog lifts its head, then curls again. All movement is calm, measured, soothing. In the kitchen, the cook begins the morning's preparations. Water is warmed in a bronze kettle, steam curling upward. Hands move slowly and deliberately, grains measured with care, loaves arranged to be sliced. The aroma of fresh bread rises gently, soft and comforting. A faint breeze drifts in through an open window, carrying scents of herbs and damp earth, rosemary, thyme, faint lavender, all subtle and soothing. Outside, craftsmen begin to stir. Potters prepare clay, hands pressing and shaping, water splashing lightly as the wheel turns steadily. Soft, rhythmic sounds blend with the hush of the morning. Blacksmiths tend small fires, hammers striking metal gently, sparks tiny and fleeting. All motion is deliberate and peaceful, part of the quiet pulse of the city awakening. In the courtyard, the gardener moves slowly. Hands brush over frost-tipped herbs. Water is poured carefully onto roots, tiny drops pattering softly against stone. Birds flit quietly, feathers catching faint sunlight. The gardener's feet press gently on tiles warmed by the first light. All actions are measured, calm, peaceful, the rhythm of nature echoing the soft pulse of the household. By mid-morning, the household is fully awake. Linen is folded neatly, pots stirred gently, water carried from one room to another. Children explore slowly, learning small tasks, hands brushing warm tiles, feet stepping carefully. Conversation remains subdued, gestures soft, all integrated into the quiet, steady rhythm of domestic life. Warmth, light, scent, and motion blend seamlessly. The triclinium is prepared for the morning meal. Loaves are broken carefully, cheese, olives, and fruits arranged thoughtfully. Water is poured into cups, family members seated calmly. Hands move slowly, conversation remains quiet, gestures deliberate. Sunlight shifts across floors and walls, mosaic tiles catching faint light. The household moves as one, unhurried, calm, a continuous rhythm. In the early afternoon, quiet streets see the soft hum of activity. Vendors arrange goods, tiles beneath their feet warmed by the sun. Hands brush lightly over pottery, fruits, and fabrics. Children wander nearby, soft laughter and careful steps echoing gently. The scent of bread, herbs, fruit, and faint smoke mingles, all motion gentle, peaceful, soothing. Back in the household, small routines continue. Pots are stirred, cloth folded, water poured. Children engage in quiet play, hands brushing warm tiles, feet moving softly. Conversation remains low, almost whispered. Everything aligns with the household's pulse, warmth, light, scent, and rhythm blending seamlessly. Evening approaches, light softening, shadows stretching across floors. Embers glow faintly in hearths. Lamps are lit with steady flame. Hands rest lightly, feet press gently against tiles. Conversation grows hushed, gestures deliberate. Children lean on elders, all motions harmonized with the household's steady, calm rhythm. Night falls fully. Moonlight glimmers across rooftops and courtyards. Tiles hold subtle warmth. Walls release heat slowly. The household settles inward, hands brushing surfaces, feet gliding over stone. Linen and wool hold gentle warmth. Small lamps flicker. Every movement is deliberate, quiet, soothing. Sleep arrives naturally, steadily, without effort. The night settles completely now, the city of Rome resting beneath a quiet sky. Lamps are dimmed to their softest glow, embers in the hearth breathing their final warmth into stone and tile. Walls hold the day's heat gently, releasing it slowly and patiently, as if the house itself is breathing. Inside the rooms, everyone has grown still. Blankets are drawn close, linen and wool resting softly against skin. Feet no longer search for warmth. Hands rest peacefully, the dog curled in its favorite place near the fading embers. The air is calm and steady, filled with the faint scent of ash and herbs. Outside, the Tiber continues its endless movement, slow water gliding past stone banks. Moonlight stretches across its surface, soft ripples carrying reflections far downstream. Boats rock faintly, ropes creaking just enough to remind the night that time is still passing. The streets are quiet now. No footsteps, no voices, only the gentle presence of buildings that have stood for generations, their walls remembering countless nights like this one. Nights of warmth preserved, of careful fires tended, of families resting safely within. Breath becomes slower and deeper. Thoughts loosen their hold, images blur softly. Warm floors, low flames, quiet rooms drift together, the past fading gently into rest. And as the Roman night continues on, unaware of centuries yet to come, you are free to drift as well. Away from stone and fire, away from history and time, into a place of quiet warmth where nothing is required, nothing is waiting, only rest slow, steady, and deep.